I think it's time for us to stand up to some of these Middle Eastern tyrants and tell them that we're tired of being, the one country that's expected to do all the dirty work and to take all of the problems. This country is willing to take in people who are desperate. We did that, and I remember after the Vietnam War, Arkansas took in an enormous number of Vietnamese refugees. And guess what? Those folks worked their tails off. They learned English. Their kids ended up becoming the valedictorians half the time.
Right.
But that was because they wanted to come to America. They wanted freedom, and they decided that they wanted to be part of this great country. And they have certainly succeeded at that, owning businesses and prospering. But just to say that if somebody is not living a very fancied life, they'd like to come here because we've given them free benefits. No, we can't do that.
Jesus disagrees. Now remember, I would not be doing this segment in this way if it wasn't the case that Mike Huckabee, every other sentence, talks about his Christianity, talks about the Bible, talks about Jesus, talks about faith, says that stuff is not debatable, says it's straight from God, and is flat out a theocrat. This guy believes in theocracy through and through to the point where he said the last time he ran that there are some people in this race that do not want to place the Constitution with God's law. Not kidding, he said that. So I wouldn't be bringing this up if it wasn't already his standard, already his criteria, already what he says he believes in. What does the Bible say? Leviticus 19. Lines 33 to 34, quote, "When a stranger sojourns with you in your land, you shall not do him wrong. You shall treat the stranger who sojourns with you as the native among you, and you shall love him as yourself." Well, that seems to be pretty loving and open to all people. Well, how about the next thing? Exodus 22, "You shall not wrong a sojourner or oppress him." That's pretty straightforward. Deuteronomy 27:19, "Cursed be anyone who perverts the justice due to the sojourner, the fatherless, and the widow." So, to be crystal clear, we're talking about oppressed people here, people who lost their home, who are travelers in your land, and you have to be kind to them, you have to be nice to them because that's a reflection on who you are. And you're a bad person if you don't treat them right. This isn't me speaking, this is your God, Mike Huckabee. All right, more. Hebrews 13, "Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unaware." Jeremiah 19:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope." Would you look at that? The Bible literally arguing in favor of welfare. So I take it that now Mike Huckabee knows this. He's going to come out, apologize, and change his position because naturally he's just a human. This is God speaking. He believes this is God speaking. So he's got to take God's word for it because that's just how it is. And this is what Mike Huckabee has told us in other contexts, like when it comes to gay people. Are you going to do that, Mike? I know you're not going to do that. Now understand, guys, am I the kind of person, and they say at different times in this conversation, vetting is important, blah, blah, blah. I agree with that. I would, vet any immigrant coming from anywhere into the United States to make sure that if we're giving people refugee status, that everything's all good. And understand, we didn't do this in the past, and there was this case about, I forget which state it was in, but people came in, turns out they had Al-Qaeda connections, and we ended up putting them on trial, they went to jail, and okay. So we get it. Okay, some people come in, they're not necessarily good people, so you have to have some sort of a system set up to vet people to be smart about it. I'm on that page 100%. I'd let in a lot of immigrants, but I would vet everybody. But see, the thing is, a guy like Mike Huckabee, that's not his position. And even if that was his position, that's still not liberal enough according to the Bible, which he says he believes. So understand, there are two sides to almost everything in the Bible. I mean, you want to back up a genocide. You want to back up mass killing. There's backing up for that in the Bible. But then there's also backup for don't kill anybody. Thou shalt not kill, among many other things. There's an argument to take a conservative position or a liberal position on a variety of issues. There are some issues where there aren't two sides in the Bible. One of them is how you treat the poor. Another one is what you do with sojourners or immigrants on your land. On both those issues, Mike Huckabee is a swing and a miss according to his own God. So by his own logic, he'll be going to his own hell, unless he changes his mind and flips his position. Mike, I'm waiting.